Hello everyone, I hope you all are fit and fine. So in this video we will be studying chapter transport of food and minerals in plants. So why it is needed that there should be movement of food and minerals in plants? We know very well plant it develops from seed is changed to seedling. This is finally changed to plant and plant is changed into tree. In this whole process, there is a need of essential nutrients, right? So that nutrients must be transported to each and every part of the plant. So we will be studying how it is taking place, how this transportation of food and minerals in plants is taking place. So first one is all organisms have a way of transporting substances. Each and every organisms in them there is special ways through which nutrients, water, exchange of gases is taking place, like such as unicellular organisms. In them there is a process that is known as diffusion. What is diffusion? It is the movement of substance from the region of high amount to the region of low amount, that is known as diffusion. And in simple multicellular plants, just as algae is there, in them there is also process that is diffusion, but cell to cell diffusion is there. In unicellular, whose body is made up of only one cell, there is a process that is known as diffusion, right? But in simple multicellular plants, there is a cell to cell diffusion, which is essential for the transportation of food, minerals in plants, right? Then in higher plants, what is present there? A specialized system is present which is needed for the transport of food, water, minerals in plants. So this system is named as vascular system. This system consists of two things. First one is tissue, then is the fiber. This tissue we will observe, right? This tissue is of two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem and its associated supportive fibers, means some fibers are associated with these tissues which will provide support to these tissues, that we will be studying. So what is the role of this system? Its role is to deliver resources. What type of resources? Water, food, essential nutrients, minerals, right? So what we have studied here, right, that transportation of food and minerals in plants, that is movement of food, water and other essential nutrients in plants. In unicellular organisms, there is a process that is known as diffusion. What is diffusion? It is movement of substance from the region of high amount to the region of low amount. Then in simple multicellular plants, there is also cell to cell diffusion. But in higher plants, there is a system that is known as vascular system. Now we will be studying here. This system is of two types. It consists of two things. First one is xylem and the other one is phloem. Xylem and phloem both are playing different roles. Xylem, it deals with the transport of water and phloem deals with the transport of food. Together these xylem and phloem, they are known as vascular bundles. So xylem is dealing with the transportation of water in the plant and phloem is dealing with the transportation of food in the plant, right? Xylem, it transport water and minerals from soil by roots to other plant parts, and phloem transport food by leaves to all other parts of plant. This xylem is divided into four types, right? Xylem is formed of four types of cell and phloem is also formed of four types of cell. What are the four types of cell which are in xylem? First one is xylem vessel, then xylem tracheate, then xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. In phloem vessel is there, companion cell is there, phloem fiber is there, and phloem parenchyma is there, right? So what we have studied about xylem and phloem. Xylem deals with the transportation of water and phloem deals with the transportation of food. And xylem is divided into 4 types, that is xylem vessel, xylem tracheids, xylem fiber, and xylem parenchyma. Then this phloem is also divided into 4 types, phloem vessel, companion cell, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Then there is a role of phloem. What is the role of phloem? Role of phloem vessels is to transport food synthesized in mesophyll cells of leaves to all non-green parts of plant. So first thing you should know, where is food synthesized? Food is synthesized in the plants, where? In leaves, right? In leaves, in which part? That is in the mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells are there in leaves which is preparing food through which process? Through the process of photosynthesis. Through which process? Photosynthesis. So phloem vessels, they transport this food which is prepared in the leaf to all the parts of the plant, right? Phloem vessels are needed in the transportation of food which is prepared in the leaves through the process of photosynthesis to all the non-green parts of plant. So phloem is just a source. What is source here? It is the place where food is synthesized, and it is transporting the food from the source, that is phloem vessel, to all the non-green parts of the plant. Then you should also know this, transport of water and minerals in plants, it is at 3 levels. What are the 3 levels? Number 1 is first one is absorption of water and minerals by individual cells, by root hairs. Now what is this root hair? We know this is the main root, right? Let us say this is a main root. It is further branching into lateral root, right? It is further branching into lateral root. This is a lateral root. Lateral root arises from the main root. Then this lateral root is further divided into very fine thread-like root hairs. So these are the root hairs. Root hairs are also known as tertiary roots. What are root hairs known as? These are also known as tertiary roots. These root hairs are very, very thin to allow water molecules to diffuse through them easily. Very thin. These root hairs are very, very thin to allow water to move very easily through them. Then there is second one is short distance transport. Short distance transport means cell to cell movement in pockets of root. Cell to cell movement in pockets of root. These are, what is this pockets? It is basically a unspecialized cells. These are the unspecialized cells which are present between the epidermis and xylem and phloem. This is, let us say, this is epidermis. Epidermis means the outer layer of the plant, that is known as epidermis. This is a epidermis. And here will be the presence of cells. This is known as pockets, right? So these are the cells through which cell to cell movement of substances will be there, right? It is present, these cells are present between epidermis and xylem and phloem, right? So these cells, these unspecialized cells help in the transportation of water through by cell to cell movement, and these cells are present between epidermis, which is the outermost layer of the plant, and between xylem and between epidermis and xylem and phloem, right? This is the cortical cells. So xylem and phloem, these are dealing with the transportation of water and food. Then the third one is long distance transport. In this, there is a process that is known as ascent of sap. What do you mean by ascent of sap? It is upward movement through xylem vessels. Ascent of sap is a upward movement of water from roots to aerial parts of plant. That is, we know from root to aerial parts of plant, that is to shoot. Water will be transported from root. We know that the plant, it is taking water from the soil. In the soil there is water, and this root will be absorbing the water from the soil through root hairs. With the help of root hairs, right, the roots will absorb water from the soil, and further this is transported upward, right, upward towards the aerial parts of the plant, or in other terms you may say that towards shoot, right. And this process is known as ascent of sap. So what do you mean by ascent of sap? It is upward movement of water, and it is through xylem vessels. Which cells are responsible for ascent of sap? That is xylem vessels. Xylem vessels are associated with the upward movement of water from root towards aerial parts of plant. So that's all for today. Stay home, stay healthy. Bye bye. Take care.